Welcome back to Yahoo Finance. We've been watching shares of Ralph Lauren all day, much better than expected quarter. Let's get really to the man of the hour, Ralph Lauren CEO Patrice Louvet. Patrice, good to see you. Thanks for welcoming us to your Madison Avenue, headquarters showroom?
Great to be here. Welcome to our home.
Yeah,
absolutely.
So we're going to get into the earnings numbers in a while, but just sitting in this room, I'm really reminded of the history and DNA of this company. You're 7 years into your, tenure as CEO.
That's
Where
right.
are you at in bringing this iconic company into a whole new age?
Listen, I think it's a never-ending journey. But what's been really important to us is to go back to the roots of what Ralph created. So Ralph started with a tie. I think people lose sight of that, but he started with a tie. And fundamentally, he launched this as a luxury company. He reminded me recently that our ties were 2.5 times the price of Christian Dior ties. So it gives you a sense of where the brand was positioned at the time. The second thing is he was driven by a purpose that has nothing really directly to do with fashion or apparel. It was all about the dream and the American dream. And our purpose is to inspire the dream of a better life through authenticity and timeless style. And that's been the driving force, honestly, for the past 57 years, but we've doubled down on it over the past few years. And then I think the lifestyle world, and that's why I said welcome to our home, because when we think of our store concepts, when we think of our office here, the whole idea is we invite you into Ralph Lauren's home, and you get to have this unique experience. And of course, we sell products, but products are props as part of the bigger movie set that we create.
Why do you think other luxury brands have been struggling? I'm not going to ask you to comment on them, Patrice, but I look at a Burberry, I look at a LVMH, they've been struggling in recent quarters. Have companies like this lost touch with their consumer in this environment, and secondarily in touch with their DNA and what they stand for?
Yeah, I'd say a few things, Brian, and I would start with your last point. Consistency, understanding your consumer, and staying fresh and evolving with the consumer. So let's talk about consistency. Interestingly, Ralph and I have lunch every week when we're both in this office.
Do you still get nervous? Or do you get nervous at all?
No, actually, I don't. Maybe I should, Brian. Now you're reminding me. Maybe I should get nervous. I'll ask Ralph if I should be nervous. No, actually, we have an incredible partnership. We have very common ambition for this company, very similar values, and we work together wonderfully well. And the thing that we talk about consistently is, no pun intended, is are we true to who we are? And are we staying, I think, loyal and true to what this company represents? This is an industry that's very much driven by trends. Trends come and go. And Ralph often says, I don't want to be too hot and I don't want to be too cold. And I think that characterizes our philosophy, which is stay consistent with what we represent, who we are, grounded in our values of authenticity, timelessness, this general aspirational dimension. Execute along those values and the purpose I mentioned earlier, and then keep it fresh, keep it engaging. You see right now we have a rolling thunder of marketing activations, right? Between
Olympics,
the fashion
US
show,
Open.
Olympics,
Yeah.
Wimbledon, Salon de la Mobile. Pretty soon we're going to transition to the US Open, then we have another show. So consistency is one. The second is just, this sounds obvious, so I apologize for the obvious nature of the comment, but being clear on who your consumer is, what matters to them now, what is their frame of mind, where do they want to engage with the brand, how do they want to engage with the brand. Listen, our consumer range is from newborns to the silent generation, right? And having a segmented, targeted approach, I think is critical. And then the final point is just freshness. Freshness in a way that is consistent with who you are, but bring this level of excitement and interest that enables the consumers to come back. Mm-hmm. And always find something unique and interesting.
My day started, we were talking a little bit off camera, Patrice, talking to Disney CFO Hugh Johnston, who I know you are familiar with. He told me consumers are watching every penny and that the theme park business for Disney is slowing down. Are you seeing the consumers act or start to act in a recessionary way? I look in the back half of the year, I see an election, I see households still dealing with inflation. Anything that gives you concern?
Well, I think it's pretty clear wherever you look that the overall consumer is being pressured by the cumulative effect of inflationary pressures and interest rates. As far as our core consumer is concerned, Brian, we actually find them to be very resilient. And that's true in New York, that's true in Miami, that's true in Shanghai, and that's true in Paris. We brought in 1.3 million new consumers this past quarter. These are younger consumers, higher value consumers. Our net promoter scores have grown quite significantly. Our search online is up 25%. So the brand has got really good energy. And I think ultimately, it's about value perception, right? And I think that's relevant for Disney and all companies in this broader space, which is the consumer seeing unique value in what you have to offer? And there are a lot of conversations around pricing and so on, but fundamentally, your brand story, the quality of your products, the experience you get when you're shopping, whether it's online or in stores, does that roll up to something that's worth the price? Mm-hmm. And we constantly ask ourselves, are we providing the right value for the consumer?
What happens, so you've really been focused on exiting unproductive doors in department stores. Where are you at in that journey? And what is the ultimate end game for the department store sector? Because the way I see it, I mean, I go to these giant hulking stores, I'm not going to name names, there's 2 floors, mostly nobody's in them. I mean, what happens here? I mean, you're losing doors, but is it a good thing? What happens to the stores themselves? I have no idea.
Yeah, so maybe 3 things, Brian. First of all, our direction of travel as a company is direct to consumer. Mm-hmm. Today, it's about 2/3 of the business. When we meet again in the coming months or years, that number will increase. Why? Because we have the ability to showcase the brand in the way that's most true to our point of view, and we have the ability to connect with the consumer directly. The second point, though, is we do believe in quality wholesale. Wholesale is an amazing environment for brand discovery, and there's nothing that really replaces it. So quality brick and mortar, quality digital. The third point, though, is we're going to show up where we can really reflect the positioning of the brand, and obviously where it's financially attractive. This has led us, as you know, to do a massive reset 3-4 years ago, closing thousands of doors, particularly in the US. Most of the heavy lifting is now complete. But we will continue to assess every single door, and I expect us to continue to prune the doors if they don't meet these 2 criteria of, can we show up in a way that's consistent with the image we want to build, and is it financially attractive? So we've basically guided that this year we'll close about 45 doors. In total, I think over the next 2-3 years, we'll probably close 150 doors in the accounts that you've talked about. But we're really clear that we're working for the long term. We're working to make sure that this brand comes through in all the touch points consistent with Ralph's vision. And we apply a pretty rigorous filter to where we show up and how we show up.
We have to leave it there for now, but I will say this. One, thank you for inviting us into your home. And you definitely beat me on the tie game. I mean, you killed it. I'm not going to tell you who I'm wearing today because you might kick me out of the building.
Brian, I can give you an address where you can expand your portfolio of ties.
I'm sure you could. All right, we'll leave it there. Patrice Louvet, Ralph Lauren CEO, thanks for making time for us. We appreciate it.
Thank you.